Hi guys, Cinematic Recapped here. Before we start, warning. Spoilers ahead. Today, I'm gonna explain an American biographical drama movie, called Concussion. The movie opens with a recording of a retired American football player from the Pittsburgh Steelers team, Mike Webster. He shares his experience that actually playing football was painful because of collisions in the game. Before closing his Hall of Fame speech, Mike states that the most important thing for a football player is to finish the game. The scene moves to forensic pathologist Dr. Bennett Omalu, who works at the Allegheny County Coroner's Office in Pittsburgh. At that moment, he is appointed as a witness at a murder trial. He has expertise in the science of death, where he studies why someone died. Dr. Bennett tries to convince the judge that the suspect is not a murderer, even though the victim's blood was found on the suspect's hands. With all the theories from his in-depth research, Dr. Bennett concludes that the suspect had actually helped the victim. He also explains to the judge that they would kill an innocent person if the suspect is sentenced to death. After that, Dr. Bennett resumes his activities and returns to work. Before dissecting a corpse, he has a fairly unique habit of always talking to the corpse. Not only that, he also always listens to music while doing his work. On the other hand, Mike is now homeless and living in his pickup truck after abandoning his family. At one time, fellow former football player, Justin Schulzeich approaches him to discuss their disease. He confides to Mike that he is suffering from memory loss, said odd things to his children, and nearly threw his wife against the wall. Hearing this, Mike deliriously responds as if inviting Justin to end their lives. The next day, Dr. Bennett meets a young woman named Prima, who works as a nurse. Since she is an immigrant from Kenya, Dr. Bennett allows her to stay at his house until she finds a place of her own. Meanwhile, Mike sees former Pittsburgh Steelers team Dr. Julian Bales. He begs Dr. Julian to get rid of his headache that keeps tormenting him. However, Dr. Julian is unable to find the cause of Mike's headache because all of his brain scans were clean. Frustrated with his never-ending disease, Mike chooses to commit suicide. The following morning, Dr. Bennett is informed about Mike's death. Furthermore, he is assigned to handle Mike's autopsy. As usual, Dr. Bennett talks to the dead Mike, hoping to find the cause of his death. During the autopsy, he keeps examining all of Mike's organs, but he still cannot find any disease that Mike had. Wondering how a healthy man could have degenerated so quickly, Dr. Bennett never gives up on continuing his research. At one point, he closely examines the microscope slides of Mike's brain, seeing evidence of severe neurotrauma. Since then, Dr. Bennett begins observing and researching the lifestyle of American football players. From the footages of American football games he has watched, he sees a lot of collisions between the heads of American football players. Therefore, he tries to match all existing theories with the facts he has found. After successfully completing his research, Dr. Bennett visits the university where he used to study. There, he meets his old friend and fellow neurologist Dr. Stephen Dukosky. Dr. Bennett concludes that Mike died as a result of the long-term effects of repeated blows to the head, a disorder he terms chronic traumatic encephalopathy or CTE. With the help of Dr. Stephen and County Coroner Dr. Cyril Wecht, Dr. Bennett finally publishes his findings in neurosurgery. That night, he and Prima go to a bar to celebrate his success. The two eventually grow closer over time. Not long after Dr. Bennett's findings were published, Justin seems frustrated with the pain in his head. He always listens to strange voices and bad commands from his head. At some point, Justin decides to leave his family behind. While driving on the road, he crashes his car and ends up dying in the accident. The next morning, Dr. Bennett takes Prima to a romantic place, where he expresses his feelings and proposes to her. Several days later, Dr. Bennett's findings are dismissed by the NFL, who fears his research could jeopardize their lucrative business. Dr. Bennett is subjected to considerable pressure to back down from his efforts, as football is a widely beloved sport in Pittsburgh, providing jobs and college opportunities. One day, Dr. Julian calls him as he wants to discuss something important with him. It turns out that the doctors who treat American football players have known about the brain damage before Dr. Bennett researched it, but they all chose to remain silent. Fortunately, Dr. Julian is no longer with the NFL, so he will fully support Dr. Bennett for the safety of the American football players. In the following years, Dr. Bennett discovers that Justin and two other deceased NFL players, Terry Long and Andre Waters, exhibited very similar symptoms to Mike's. One day, Dr. Bennett persuades newly appointed NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell to allow him to present his findings before a player safety committee. However, he is eventually barred from the committee meeting, forcing Dr. Julian to the presentation in his place. Unfortunately, the NFL does not take the findings seriously and claims the player's head trauma is unrelated to football. A former NFL Player Association executive angrily confronts Dr. Bennett and tells him to go back to Africa. From then on, the NFL has been constantly looking for ways to silence him. Dr. Cyril is subject to a politically motivated prosecution on corruption charges. Dr. Bennett ends up being threatened with deportation and a prison sentence on petty charges as punishment for tarnishing the NFL's image. Additionally, Prima also suffers a miscarriage due to stress after being followed in her car. As a result of all the terror he received, Dr. Bennett finally gives up on his efforts. He and Prima are forced to leave their dream home outside Pittsburgh and move to Lodi, California, where he takes a job with the San Joaquin County Coroner's Office. 3 years later after the incident, Dr. Bennett is now living happily with his family. On the other side, another former American football player, Dave Durson, commits suicide due to his inability to cope with his deteriorating cognitive function. In his suicide note, Dave acknowledges that Dr. Bennett was right and donates his brain for future research. Because of that, the NFL ends up believing Dr. Bennett's findings and invites him to address an NFLPA conference on concussions and CTE. Dr. Bennett says that he once wished he had never met Mike Webster, but by getting to know him, he has the responsibility to inform all NFL players of the true risks they take by playing. At the end of his speech, he declares that he holds no resentment for the NFL, and tells them to forgive themselves and be at peace. Afterwards, Dr. Bennett is offered a job as chief medical examiner for the District of Columbia, but he ultimately turns down the offer to remain with his family in Lodi. He is also naturalized as a U.S. citizen in February 2015. In an epilogue, NFL players sue the league for not properly informing them of the risks of CTE in 2011. A final montage includes reports of Junior Seau's suicide in 2012 and subsequent lawsuits brought against the NFL by thousands of former players. Subscribe to watch more videos like this, turn on notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.